What began as an ordinary gathering in the neighborhood soon took on a life of its own. You're familiar with that type. Plastic cups brimming with inexpensive wine, a facade of intimacy among the crowd, and the silent rivalry of who appears to have their life more in order. As the conversation shifted to my husband, I found myself not giving it much thought. Mark has always possessed a certain social awkwardness. The fellow who stumbles through his speech or delivers a punchline that lands only after the moment has passed. Indeed, I have often found myself rolling my eyes at him. Yet, on that particular evening, spurred by an abundance of Chardonnay and the gentle coaxing of my companions, I found myself participating. "We love Mark," someone remarked, a chuckle escaping their lips. "However, he possesses a certain uniqueness about him." "Oh, you have no idea," I interjected, the words flowing forth before I could fully consider them. "One must witness his attempts at home repairs. It resembles the experience of viewing a YouTube tutorial in reverse. The outcome invariably deteriorates." People laughed, not the courteous, merely amused chuckle, the genuine, profound laughter that nourishes your sense of self, leaving you with the delightful impression that you are the wittiest individual present. Thus I persevered. I can't help but feel that Mark is secretly vying for a spot on America's Funniest Home Videos. Just think back to that time he attempted to fix the garbage disposal and inadvertently turned the kitchen into a mini swimming pool. Timeless Mark. At that point, all were aware of it. The men chuckled, their hands meeting their knees, while the women exchanged knowing glances. I cast a fleeting look at Mark, who was seated across the patio. He stood by the grill flipping burgers, his expression a studied facade of indifference. That should have been my signal to cease. Yet the joy of laughter was simply too delightful to resist. "And don't even get me started on his sense of direction," I remarked, a grin spreading across my face. Mark had a remarkable talent for losing himself, even in the familiar confines of his own driveway. He possesses this application now that is intended to assist, yet frequently he finds himself in disagreement with it, asserting, "No, I have a superior method." Beware, the outcome is not what you might hope for. A fresh wave of laughter echoed through the air. Even Karen, the woman who has perpetually cast her gaze upon me with disdain since our arrival, was dabbing at her tears. At last, a sense of triumph washed over me. Then Mark set the spatula aside. Initially, I assumed he was merely stepping away to retrieve something, yet he approached us, his shoulders rigid, his jaw clenched. Silence enveloped the room, and in that stillness he spoke. "Amusing, isn't it?" His voice carried a serene steadiness, yet beneath that tranquility lay a sharpness I had never encountered before. "Have you ever considered what's truly amusing? Devoting 15 years to the pursuit of another's happiness, only to discover that you've become the joke at a casual gathering." The stillness enveloped everything, a heavy blanket of quiet that pressed down on the world. I attempted to brush it aside with a chuckle. "Oh, really now?" For coming to the realization that he had truly departed, I contemplated reaching out to him regardless, yet my pride intervened. "He is the one who is overreacting. It was merely a jest." Spouses often find themselves the subject of playful teasing. That was the mantra I repeated as I brewed my coffee and gazed out the window, attempting to persuade myself that I was not the antagonist in this tale. Yet the truth continued to eat away at me. I could still picture his face, the tremor in his voice as he uttered 15 years. I was left to ponder which hurt more, his departure or the realization that I had been blind to it all along. The narrative resumed its course in the mid-morning light. "Is that you, Karen?" Always the inquisitive neighbor took the lead. "Greetings, I wanted to touch base. Last night was quite an experience. I trust you are doing well." Then arrived Jennifer. "Claire, I am filled with a deep sense of regret. Would you like to engage in a conversation? How about we go out for lunch?" Even Dale, Karen's husband, joined the conversation. "Mark is a decent fellow. I truly hope you both find a way to resolve your differences. Do not hesitate to reach out if you need assistance. They all had good intentions, I suppose, yet every message felt like a focused beam illuminating my shortcomings. Things took a turn for the worse when Karen sent another message, accompanied by a photo. It was indeed Mark, alone in a coffee shop on the other side of town. I came across this and it reminded me of you. Perhaps it would be wise to have a conversation with him? I felt an overwhelming urge to scream, to cry, or to hurl my phone across the room, yet I found myself simply gazing at the picture. Instead, Mark appeared, serene, perhaps resigned, as if a decision had long been settled within them. As the clock approached noon, I found myself wandering the living room, grappling with the unraveling of events that had led to this disarray. It wasn't as if we lacked love for one another. Indeed, we were not the type of couple to share anniversary tributes on Facebook or refer to each other as babe in public. Yet we shared something truly special. Did we not? I reflected on the most recent occasion when we had a genuine conversation. Not the mundane details of grocery lists and bills, but a genuine exchange of thoughts. Months had slipped by, perhaps even longer. Amidst the relentless rhythm of everyday life and my tendency to confide in friends about him, I had begun to overlook the fact that Mark was a person capable of fragility. And now it seemed I had discovered the threshold of his endurance. On that afternoon, I made an attempt to reach him by phone. He remained silent. I sent a message. Mark, I apologize. May we engage in a conversation, please? Silence lingers. After an hour of anticipation, I finally decided to send another. I find myself in a state of discontent. Your response is eagerly awaited. Yet again silence prevails. As the clock struck 4 p.m., the coffee pot stood barren, and my nerves lay frayed and exhausted. I began searching for guidance on what steps to take when your husband departs, and how to mend a marriage after making mistakes. I found myself on a forum dedicated to women navigating the challenges of separation. Many appeared to be just as adrift as I was, save for a single remark that lingered in my mind. One cannot mend what is not willing to be mended. Yet, you can demonstrate your readiness to make an effort. I made an attempt. My initial course of action led me to the coffee shop where Karen had first laid eyes on him. I had no concrete plan. I simply thought that encountering him face to face could provide some clarity. Yet, when I finally arrived, he had already vanished. The barista informed me that he had departed roughly an hour prior. And no, he hadn't provided a number or a forwarding address. The subsequent destination was the residence of his brother. Mark's brother, Tom, resided in a nearby town and had consistently taken on the role of the family's mediator. Tom was the one person who could truly make him see reason. Yet, Tom found himself equally in the dark about Mark's whereabouts. What on earth transpired, Claire? He inquired, his arms folded as he rested against the doorframe. It was a foolish altercation, I remarked, my voice trembling. It wasn't even a struggle. I was merely jesting, yet he took offense. What are we jesting about? For a moment I paused. Just playfully poking fun at him like everyone else does. Tom remained silent, a smile absent from his lips. You are not just anyone, Claire. You are his wife. That evening, I found myself in our bedroom, enveloped by echoes of his presence. The pillow rests softly, his garments neatly folded in the closet, while a half-empty bottle of cologne sits on the dresser, a lingering reminder of his presence. Everything seemed askew, as if the house were suspended in a moment of anticipation, holding its breath for his return. The note he left lingered in my thoughts, the phrase "you've made your feelings clear" echoing in my mind like an unwelcome tune. Had I truly evoked such feelings in him? When slumber finally embraced me, the anger had dissipated, simply filled with fear. For I understood in the depths of my being that this was not a matter that could be mended with mere words of remorse or a grand romantic act. I had shattered something beyond my understanding of restoration. As dawn broke, I realized it was time to confront the reality that awaited me. Mark would not return unless I provided him with a compelling reason to do so. I couldn't simply linger, wishing he would move past it. With a heavy heart, I set aside my pride and made my way to his office. I lingered in my car, the minutes stretching into an eternity as I mentally prepared my words. However, upon my arrival, his assistant informed me that he had not been present all week. In that moment, the realization struck me. He wasn't merely stepping away from my presence. He was distancing himself from the entirety of his existence. Several days passed, and another note arrived in the mail. Neither an email nor a text. A genuine letter. Dear Claire, I have been residing with a friend, contemplating my thoughts and reflections. That night lingers in my mind, and it wasn't merely the humor that draws me back. The moment dawned on me that you had ceased to view me as your partner long before now. At some point the shift occurred, though the exact moment eludes me. What remains undeniable is its presence now. I refuse to be the person you mock to elevate your own self-esteem. I am worthy of greater things, and truthfully, so are you. I have come to the conclusion that it is time to pursue a divorce. The choice is fraught with difficulty, yet it resonates as the correct path forward. I trust we can approach this matter with the utmost respect. Wishing you well, Mark. The weight of its finality bore down on me, leaving me utterly crushed. My initial impulse was to dispute, to plead, to resist. Yet, beneath the surface, I understood he was correct. I had devoted countless hours to scrutinizing his imperfections and sharing my grievances with others, losing sight of what it truly meant to embrace someone wholeheartedly, flaws and all. That evening I found myself alone in the vacant house, allowing every sensation to wash over me. Regret lingers, shame envelopes, and sadness prevails. Though I longed to despise him for his surrender, I found myself unable to do so. For the sake of honesty, I must admit that I was the one who had surrendered first. The dissolution of their marriage was swift. Silence. Without children or a significant amount of assets to split, there was little for us to contest. Mark settled into a quaint apartment in a nearby town, while I remained in the house. Eventually, the residents of the neighborhood ceased to mention it altogether. Life continued its relentless march, as it invariably does. Yet from time to time I would catch a glimpse of Mark at the grocery store or cruising by in his car. He always appeared at ease. Not joyful precisely, but serene. It pained me deeply to realize he had discovered that tranquility in my absence. A year has passed, and I find myself still navigating the complexities of it all. I found myself in therapy, delving into the intricacies of my past, seeking to understand the missteps that led me to overlook the one who cared for me the deepest. Mark's departure was the unexpected jolt that stirred me from my slumber of complacency. It has led me to reevaluate all that I once believed. My self-perception, the way I interact with those I cherish, and my true desires in a romantic connection. Do I long for his presence? Each and every single day. Yet I am also aware that he made the right choice. At times, the sole path to self-preservation lies in stepping away from someone who has already released their hold on you.